Mo Elleithee is the founding executive director of the Georgetown University Institute of Politics and Public Service, and Carl Higbie is the spokesperson for the Great America PAC. Great to see you both.
Not anymore, Megyn.
Oh, not anymore?
No.
Are you moving into the administration?
No, no, not yet. But the PAC dissolved that day after, so I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, I predict a future in the administration for Carl Higbie. You heard it here first.
Well, we'll see.
I know nothing. I just am predicting. Okay, let me ask you, Mo, I actually thought President Obama's willingness to sound a more conciliatory, hopeful tone about Donald Trump, who he clearly does not like, spoke well of him. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. Look, I don't think there's any question that President Obama was not a fan of Donald Trump heading into the election.
Nor vice versa.
Or vice versa. I think I'm putting it very mildly to say that. But I think everything he has said since then has been exactly what he should say. Mm-hmm. It is his job. It is his responsibility to oversee a strong transition to the new president-elect. And he and his staff have been doing everything they can to make sure that transition goes well. He can be asked as many times as people want to ask him if what he thinks of the president-elect. That's irrelevant at this point. It's his responsibility to make sure the transition goes well. Yep. I think that is what he's doing, and I think he did a good job of pointing to try to ease some of the concerns that Americans have. By pointing out some of the strengths that Donald Trump may bring to the office. And also
suggesting that the office can lift you up and can change you in a way that's beneficial for the country. But, Carl, there were other comments, too, where it was leaked today that when Donald Trump walked through the White House and with his staff, that the staff was clueless about the fact that the existing West Wing staff all have to leave. There won't be any holdovers. They're going to have to fill all those posts. And there was sort of a, don't worry, Barack Obama's going to help him out. He's going to help. Yep. And political watchers said that's clearly a shot by the existing White House team.
Yeah. Well, I think Barack Obama said it for two reasons. One, he didn't think Donald Trump was going to win. So back then he was very confident that Hillary's going to be his successor. But two, also, I think Barack Obama, like you said, is trying to help him out. And he's effectively trying to keep Donald Trump from overturning most of his legislation, which, quite frankly, has been a disaster. So Obama's going to try to do anything he can to salvage his legacy.
What do you think, Mo? Because President Obama said, look, Donald Trump is not ideological. He's pragmatic. Which is probably true, right? I mean, he doesn't seem ideological. He's a Democrat for most of his life, right?
That's right, yeah.
But then he went on to say, but he has to watch his temperament and be careful about messaging, and pointed out how it's one thing to say something as a candidate, but when you are the president of the United States, you can change markets, you can change safety and world security.
Get Mo. Oh, wait, no.
Well, do you think Donald Trump's going to get that, Mo?
Look, I think every single person who has ever stepped into the Oval Office has found that that office has changed them. I think anyone who has walked into that office has realized that that the office not only changes them, but changes some of the things that they hope to accomplish. President Obama said very famously that when he was running for president, he wanted to change the political culture of Washington. And he tells you now that he wasn't able to do that there were too many realities here that stopped that from happening. So I think what he's saying is true, that President-elect Trump is not an ideologue. I think he scrambled a lot of the typical ideological divides in this country, and that he is pragmatic. And I think the president is both predicting and maybe hoping a bit that once he gets into office, he'll realize that some of the things he talked about just can't happen.
Carl, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the things he talked about can happen, and I think it just takes somebody who's, annoyed at the system enough. I mean, look at the fact of the matter is Donald Trump has been so, anxious and so, happy to get in this office and try to crush the system that's been breaking America's backs. I think he can do it, and I think he's the right man for the job.
All right, guys, great to see you. And you are not alone in that belief.